Welcome students, welcome to the accountancy point where we study the various accounting concepts for class 11 and 12. Today I have come with a video for class 11 on a new topic which is called the double entry system. Children, from standard 11 point of view, this chapter plays a very important role. This is such a chapter which will determine your future. If you have mastered this particular chapter and based on this the journal entries are there. So if you have understood this particular part of the chapter or this particular part of journal, you will be able to pass journal entries very easily. And journal entry is the backbone of accountancy. If you are good at passing journal entries, that means you will never face any problem, whether in standard 11 or in 12 or whether you are doing CS or CA or MBA, whatever it is, you will never face problem. So this chapter plays a very important role from a student's point of view, especially a student of commerce. So let's begin with the video of double entry system. But before we go ahead, please subscribe to the channel Accountancy Point and press the black bell icon if you have not yet done. Children, this is my video number 9 for class 11. The topic is on double entry system part 1. This is part 1 of double entry system, in which we will be talking about the concept of double entry system and the traditional approach of accounts, and it is for class 11. Children, let us first of all go back to the history of double entry system. Even in the first chapter, while introducing the chapter of accounting, introduction to accounting, my first video, I had explained about the double entry system. Once again, if you go back to the history of double entry system, Fra Luca Pacioli is considered the father of double entry system because he was of Venice, Italy. First time he had written a book in the year 1494, in which he had first time he had used the term debit and credit. Since then we have been using it with more or less many modifications, but there is no change in the debit or credit. So since he was the first person to give the terms like called debit and credit for accounting, he is considered to be the father of accountancy. So let us understand some of the basic concepts of double entry system first. Children, in the previous video, the previous 2 videos which I had made based on accounting equation, if you remember, I had told you that accounting equation is based on the dual aspect concept or the double entry system. So once again, I would highlight the point double entry system, and it is based on the dual aspect concept. According to this accounting principle, it says that each and every transaction, business transaction, has 2 aspects. One which gets debited, the other one which gets credited. Children, whenever we do any transaction, let's take a simple example. You went to the market and you bought vegetables. So what will happen? If you buy vegetables, there will be 2 things happening simultaneously. What? First of all, you will get the vegetables and you will pay cash for it. Leave about the vegetables, come back to the business, because we all are the students of commerce, and in commerce we deal with business transactions in accountancy. So over here, when we talk about a business transaction, each business transaction has a similar type of 2 aspects. One, something which is received, something which is paid or goes out of the firm. One account gets added up, the other account gets deducted. So what happens, children, that all those things, like suppose I just give you the example of vegetables. So you are receiving vegetables, and how much? what is the value, how much vegetables you are receiving? You are receiving vegetables which is equivalent to the amount which you have paid. If you have paid 100 rupees, you will get vegetables equivalent to rupees 100. That means whatever is the receiving part, similar and equivalent is the part which we give out or goes out of the firm. Based on this, we can say that debit equals credit, and if you remember, debit equals credit means the accounting equation which says assets is equal to the sum total of capital plus liabilities. That means the accounting equation. If you want to understand it from the science point of view, children, we had Newton's law, Isaac Newton, who had said that each and every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So according to that, he used two terms, equal and opposite. That means even in accountancy we follow these two words. All the transactions have equal impact on the transaction. As I just gave you the example, vegetables, you received vegetables equivalent to the amount which you have paid. So they are both equal. If you have paid 100 rupees, you will get the vegetables of rupees 100. But they are of the opposite nature. Something is coming, something is going. So based on these concepts, we use the term debit or credit. Now children, let us talk about some of the principles or the features of double entry system. Double entry system is based on the principle, or you can say one of the features of double entry system says that each business transaction has two aspects. We have already discussed just now with the example that whenever any particular business transaction takes place, there are two things happening. You can just take another example. Suppose goods bought of rupees 10,000 for cash. So what are the two things happening over here? What are we buying? We are buying goods. That means goods are coming to us. We have done the purchasing. And how much goods have been purchased? Goods of rupees 10,000 have been purchased. Its worth is rupees 10,000. And what has happened? The opposite. We have paid cash. How much have we paid cash? Rupees 10,000. That means, once again, it says that each and every transaction has two aspects. One which gets debited, the other one which gets credited. Since we purchase is an expense, so following the rule, there are certain rules and regulations based on which purchases will get debited, and cash is an asset, it is going out, so based on certain rules it will be credited. Now what are those rules and regulations that we'll discuss right now? But before that, let us talk about some other features of double entry system. The second feature of double entry system says that it records both the type of transactions, whether it is personal or impersonal accounts. Now what are personal, what are impersonal, we will just study about them. Transactions are recorded based on some specified rules. What are those rules? That also we will discuss. So these are the features which says a lot of things about double entry system. Now we will study about the various approaches of accounting. Children, let's begin with the accounting approaches. Accounting approaches are those methods or those ways by which business transactions are recorded in the books of accounts. For our convenience, we have divided the accounting approaches into two types. One is the traditional concept, which we are going to talk today. Traditional approach. This is also known as British approach of accounting. Okay? Whereas the other one is the modern approach of recording business transaction. It is also known as American approach. So today we are going to talk about this traditional approach of recording business transactions. Now, when we say traditional approach, children, when I say traditional approach, traditional means something which we have been using, since or over a very long period of time. So according to the traditional approach, accounts is divided into two parts. The first one is called personal accounts, and the other one is called impersonal account. Now, let us understand what is personal account. Children, personal accounts are those accounts which are associated with, as the name says, person. Now, who is a person? A person may be a person like us who have life, or you have already studied about the companies and various business organizations which have legal status. So, personal accounts refer to all those accounts which are related to any people, any firm, any institution, any company, etc. So they are referred as personal accounts. Personal accounts are further subdivided. In order to understand them well, we have categorized them under three heads. One is natural personal account, artificial personal account, and the third one is representative personal account. Now let us talk about the natural personal account. What is natural personal account? Natural personal account refers to all those personal accounts who have or which relate to human beings, who have life, like I may say Ram's account, Salim's account, because these are the name of a person. Similarly, when any person starts the business, what is that called? That is called capital. So if, like suppose if X starts, or you can say that if Sohan starts the business, we must write Sohan's capital account. So capital account is related to a person. That is why it is a natural personal account. Similarly, wherever the name of any person comes, even Sohan is a businessman, and if he draws for his personal use, so Sohan's drawings account is also a natural personal account because it is also related to a person. So capital account, drawings account, any person's name, all these are referred as natural personal account. Whereas when we say artificial personal accounts are those accounts which do not have life, but they have an existence in the eyes of the law, like a bank account. Okay, we may say like RK Enterprises, Tata Steel, Tata Motors. So since over here, Reliance Industries Limited, these all are artificial personal accounts. Why are they called artificial personal account? Because they do not have their own existence. They do not, they do not have life, but they have the existence in the eyes of the law. They are companies, they are the enterprises, they are the business firms. So they are considered as a separate unit, distinct and existing on its own. So that is why they are called artificial personal account. For the representative, please hold it on. We will come back after some time. Artificial, there can be a lot many examples. These were a few which I just gave. Like once again I repeat before going to the impersonal account. Natural personal account refers to all those which are related to any living person. Or capital account, drawings account, all these are considered as natural. Whereas Artificial refers to those accounts which do not have life, but they have an existence in the eyes of the law, like bank, RK Enterprises, Tata Steel, Tata Motors, Reliance Industries, Mahindra Tech. There can be a lot many examples of these. Once again I say we'll get back to representative, because in order to understand the representative, you have to understand impersonal accounts first. Now, as the name suggests, impersonal. What do you mean by impersonal? Impersonal means something which is not related to personal account. So, impersonal accounts are have been also classified into two: real account and nominal account. Now, what is real account? Children, in short, if I say all the assets are called real account. They are all considered as real account. Whatever type of assets they may be. They have been, for better understanding, we have classified them into two: tangible real account and intangible real account. They are based on tangible assets and intangible assets. Tangible assets you may say as land and building, plant and machinery, furniture, leasehold premises, freehold premises, premises, motor vehicles, you can say the computers. Okay, so all these, since they can be seen, they can be touched, they can be, they have the existence, physical existence, so they are called tangible assets. Whereas intangible assets are those which do not have physical existence, like goodwill, patent, copyright, trademark, franchise, license. Okay, so these are referred as intangible assets. Computer software. Now there can be a lot many examples. You will have to explore yourself, that when you read a particular transaction, you will have to explore what is the nature of these particular account, and based on that they are classified. So these were the examples of real account, or which are referred to all the assets. So all the assets come under real account. Now, nominal account. Children, what are nominal? Nominal means which are very, not very important, but they play an important role. They have, they have impact on the business. So for better understanding, we have divided nominal accounts also into two parts: expenses and losses, and incomes and gains or profits. So based on these two heads, nominal account are classified, like salary, wages, discount allowed, or the discount which you give, rent paid, commission paid, interest paid, dividend paid, freight. It's not freight, it's freight, F-R-E-I-G-H-T, freight. Freight means the carriage. Oh, sorry, once again then, carriage also is an expense. Postage, insurance, premium. These are certain examples. Tax, audit fee. So there can be a lot many examples of such expenses, okay, or losses, like loss on sale of goods, loss on sale of any asset. Suppose you had a furniture of rupees 12,000, you sold it for rupees 8,000. So you had a loss of rupees 4,000. So that loss is your nominal account. Similarly, incomes and profits, like discount received, rent received, interest received, commission received, profit on sale of any asset. So all these must be considered as a part of income or the profit. So they are the part of nominal account. So I hope by till now you will have got a fair view of all the types of accounts except the representative personal account. Now what is a representative? The word representative means it is a type of account which represents other, or it represents, it's not a real, means it's not a personal account, but it represents to a group of people, or you can say a person to whom this amount has to be paid or will be payable in future or receivable. Like salary. What is salary? It is an expense. But when I say outstanding expenses or outstanding salary, so what does it mean? It means that we have outstanding means whenever we had to pay the salary, we have not yet paid. So it will be considered as an outstanding. In short, if I say whenever there is any prefix or suffix added along with any nominal account, it is known as the representative personal account. Like outstanding, prepaid insurance premium, okay. Then you may have the, like over here I am adding the word prepaid, it's a prefix added before salary, outstanding is added, before insurance prepaid is added, commission received in advance, commission received in advance. So what is commission? Commission is a nominal account, but after that we have added this suffix, so it has made it a representative personal account. Similarly, accrued rent. So rent is a nominal account, but we have added accrued. Accrued means the income which we have not yet received. So this such type of items which are nominal accounts, but they have certain prefix or suffix added with them. So whenever any prefix or suffix is added along with the nominal account, it is considered as a representative personal account. Now, we may consider some more expenses like purchases. Children, purchase is an expense. But when I say stock, stock is an asset. Debtor is an asset. Stock is an asset. But who is a debtor? Debtor is a person or a firm to whom we sell goods on credit. So they are a person or a firm. So whenever is the name person or firm comes, they will be considered as personal accounts. So debtors, if there is a name of a person, like we have bought goods from, Rahim. So who is Rahim? He is our creditor. He may be considered as a personal account. So debtor, creditor, they are all referred as personal account. They may be natural, they may be artificial. If the name of any organization is there, they may be an artificial. But if the name of any person is there, they may be considered as a natural personal account. Stock, what do you mean by stock? Stock are those goods which are not sold at the end of the year. So they remain with us and we will earn income in future. So anything which helps us to earn income in future is considered our asset. That is why stock is considered as an asset, but purchase, the goods, the money which we pay in order to buy raw materials or acquire any raw material, it will be considered as a purchase. Similarly, sale is an income because it generates revenue for the organization. Now the sale can be of goods, it may be of the services. Now we will discuss about certain rules based on these three accounts. So ultimately you can understand we have three accounts about which we have to study. First is personal account, second is real account, and third is nominal account. So children, after understanding about the accounts, we will see how to pass journal entries on what basis. There are certain rules for each of these accounts. Based on them, the transactions will be recorded in the books of accounts. Let's see that. Children, the rule which I am going to discuss with you all, they are very important rules and they are known as golden rules in accountancy or of accountancy. Why? Because based on them, the transactions are recorded and you have to understand them, and at the same time you must keep those rules always at the tip of your tongue. Then only you will be able to pass journal entries. So I am just writing over here golden rules, which that means they are the rules for debit and credit. So the first rule is related to my first account. Which was the first account? Personal account. Once again, before I give you the rule, I would remind you about the personal account. Personal accounts are those accounts which are related to any person, firms, institutions, or any organizations or company. So the rule of personal account says debit the receiver. Debit the receiver and credit the giver. Okay, that means any person who will receive, any institution, whatever is received by the firm, that will be debited, and whatever is given to whomever it is given will be credited. Let's take an example that paid to Sohan rupees 10,000. So what are the aspects in this? What are you doing over here? You are paying to Sohan. How much? Rupees 10,000. And what is going out? Cash. So Sohan is which type of account? Sohan's account is which type of account? It is related to a person's name. So it is a personal account. We are paying to Sohan. So who is Sohan? Receiver or giver? Obviously he is the receiver because we are paying, so he is receiving the payment. So since he is receiving, so his account will be debited. I am not talking about the cash because cash is another type of account. Now let us take the rule for real account. Once again, I would remind you all, what are real accounts? All the assets will be considered as real account. The rule of the real account says debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Now, I would take the same. This says that if there is any asset, if any asset is coming, you debit that asset. If any asset is going out, you credit that asset. I would take the same example, paid to Sohan. What are the two accounts involved over here? One is Sohan, which is a personal account. Since he was the receiver, so his account is debited. But what is related to cash? Cash is an asset. And when we are paying, cash is going out. So based on the rule, credit what goes out. Since cash is going out, that is why it will be credited. So children, this is how we identify and pass journal entries based on these various accounts. The third account which we have to talk is the nominal account. Before I tell you the rule, once again, nominal accounts are classified as expenses and losses, and incomes and gains or profits. So based on their nature, the rule says debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So children, let us take an example over here. Whenever there is an expense or loss, you will debit them. If there is an income or gain, you will credit it. Let's take an example. Salary paid rupees 20,000. So what are the two aspects over here? The first aspect is salary account. And what are we paying? Cash account. So what is the nature of salary? Salary is an expense. So since it is an expense, it will be a nominal account. Since it is a nominal account and the expense, so what is the rule of nominal account says? Debit all expenses. So since it is an expense, it will be debited. What about cash? Cash is a real account. What is the rule of real account? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Over here, when we are paying salary, cash is going out. So cash is a real account and it goes out. That is why it will be credited. Another example, you may take rent received by check, rupees 5,000. So what are the aspects over here? What are you receiving? Rent received. You may write it, rent received account or rent account only, and you are receiving the rent how? Check. Check is not an account. What do we do with the check? We deposit the check into bank. So bank is another aspect in this particular transaction. We never write checks account. We write bank account. Now what are the aspects over here? What is rent? We are receiving rent. So rent received is which type of account? It's a nominal account and it is an income. So what will happen? Since what is the rule of nominal account? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Since it is an income, so it will be credited. And now what is bank? Which type of account it is? It is a personal account. What is the rule of personal account says? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. What did we do with the check? We deposited the check into bank. So bank has received the check. So bank is the receiver. So since bank is the receiver, so it will be debit the receiver as per the rule of real account. So children, this is how we identify the various aspects and record them in the books of accounts based on these three golden rules. Hope this video will help you in passing journal entries with the help of the traditional approach. I'll come with the next video where I will discuss about the modern approach or the American approach of accounting. Till then, please do take good care of yourself, and please like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to Accountancy Point. Thank you.